welcome to another episode of the Sunday Vibes podcast. This episode number 10. We finally hit double digits. I'm your host, Habib, as always, every stinking week. This week, we've got our co-hosts today. Joining me is Janae.
Hello.
And a special appearance from in a long time by Marco.
I'm back.
He's back and he's better.
Back, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm back. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. But before we dive into our topic for today, is why the adpocalypse is a good thing. Is what we'll be talking about more or less, and then we'll deter and go our crazy ways with that. And I wanted to talk about the people who brought the podcast today to you. So you could always thank Crystal Clouds for the music that was provided earlier for the intro and every music that we do use throughout the podcast. Go check them out. Links in the description below. And then Dapper Ties, they also sponsor the podcast, and we'll talk about them later in the podcast. And as you know, all the links to everything we talk about are in the description, and the SoundCloud link to the audio podcast is also in the description. So if you want to check that out, and hopefully I'm working on it in a few weeks here, if I do my homework correctly. The podcast will be on iTunes for everyone who wanted that. How's everyone doing? How's everyone going?
Doing good.
Yeah. How's everyone?
Yeah, pretty chill.
Yeah. I mean, the weather in Houston was pretty good today. So, did you guys take advantage of that today?
Dude, the weather is so nice.
Bro, it was 74 this morning. Perfect weather. But did you guys get to take advantage of it? Like, did you guys go out, just do whatever?
I got a haircut.
Oh, shit.
Hey. Only because I was at work all day, so I was kind of mad about it. But it was like whenever I got to go outside to go to the warehouse. Because they have like these giant ass garage doors that they open up. So it feels really, really nice in there. And I just like take a nice stroll, try not to die. It's nice.
Oh, nice. I don't know. I was stuck in traffic for most of today, and I couldn't really have my windows down because I was in a bunch of like meetings and calls and trying to get everything sorted. So that was fun.
That's gross.
Yep. That's what happens when there are no ads on YouTube. But today we're talking about all the good things that are coming out of the adpocalypse from personal experience, actually. So if you're like okay, I'm gonna restart that. If you're someone like Janae, Janae does not know what the adpocalypse is or like how it affects everyone, right? How it affects all
I don't.
Creators. Whereas Marco and I, we kind of got fucked.
You want to cover overall what it is?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna go over like a brief description of it or like brief history, and then I'll just dive into why it's a good or bad thing, and give each perspective on there. And then we can just talk about it, and then wherever our conversation goes from there, So basically what happened is, I believe it's back when the Wall Street Journal attacked PewDiePie for his Nazi stuff, right?
So-called Nazi, yeah.
Quote unquote Nazi stuff, which was taken out of context, like 100%. But that's what started it all, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what started it all. And so because of that, Wall Street Journal went to YouTube. They're like, "Yo, you're running ads on this site, on this video, and a bunch of terrorist videos, like ISIS videos and shit like that, of the beheadings and everything. Like, why are you guys profiting off this? Or do the companies know who are putting their ads up that their videos are going? They're being put up in front of such videos, right? And most companies, as any company, would not like their product to be associated with ISIS or like any other murders or whatever, right? So they're like, we're gonna back out, and if you don't fix this, and then YouTube had to implement new rules where you had to have at least 10,000 views on a channel to actually have ads or the options to place ads and monetize your videos. And then after that, a few companies did come back with ads, but what it ended up happening is the CPM, or like the money you get per 1,000 views, was was very much lower, to about, I don't know exact numbers, but I've heard about a fourth to an eighth of views dropping and actual the amount of money people were getting on their videos, and these aren't like regular like small creators. I'm talking about like bigger creators, like who are already been on the site for years now. They were reported.
Yeah, because like you
People that
said,
like
I'm
make
not a,
their life from this.
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm not a creator in any way, shape, or form, so I had no idea what specifically you were talking about.
Yeah.
But I do know as a consumer or a customer, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
of YouTube,
Yeah.
um, I would the people who I would watch, I would hear a lot about how they're having problems with ad revenue and how there's a giant adpocalypse and it was ruining business for them, and their entire structure was based off of YouTube. Like that was one
Yeah.
of their big platforms, and now it's like, okay, well, if this continues and if this keeps affecting them, then they're going to have to move somewhere else. And I'm like, well, I don't want to have to go somewhere else to watch a video that I could just watch
Yeah.
on YouTube. And
Cause
so
yeah,
it
cause
like it affects on different levels, but you don't really realize it.
mm-hmm.
Um,
It affected everyone very differently, but it was more or
yeah.
less, I want to say the same for everyone. They lost views, right? YouTube was restricting a lot of views or videos from going into sub boxes as well. And recently, YouTube's been under fire because of it. Whereas Casey Neistat's video, that's been the whole. By the time this podcast comes out, this would have been like a week or two old of the actual controversy. We should have talked about on the last podcast, but nonetheless, we're talking about it now. And in a bit, I'll give you like tips to actually go and do others, or what I did. I'll give you all a brief synopsis of what I did because of the adpocalypse, and that really has a lot to do with why I think it's a good thing. So the most recent news that came out from YouTube and the adpocalypse is, there's still low. There's ads have come back, but they're not as big as they were, or they're not selling as big as they used to, right? Before the whole fiasco, and that's still true because big companies, they're not gonna advertise through YouTube. So Casey Neistat made a video about he made it about some tragedy. I believe it was the Puerto Rico hurricane Irma, and he said all the
Mhm.
proceeds that everyone donates, right? That'll go to Hurricane Irma, but all the views or all the money he makes from that video specifically, all the proceeds will also go to Hurricane Irma, which is a good thing for him, and if he does it, that's cool. But what ended up happening is that oh wait, sorry, it was not because of Hurricane Irma. It was actually because of the Las Vegas shooting, right? He said
Yeah.
all the
Uh-huh.
proceeds will go to the Las Vegas shooting and like help the people there, right? And that's why it was such a controversial topic on YouTube. Um, so Casey puts out his video. He says all the proceeds will go to the families and everyone who helped there, and it'll just go help out the whole situation, everything like that. And Jimmy Kimmel made his own little video about him talking about what happened at Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So YouTube, what they did is they demonetized Casey Neistat's video, right? So he's not gonna make any money off of that. So he can't even put the proceeds to Las Vegas, whatever.
Yeah, you won't get anything from
Yeah,
that.
and he got about 3 million at the time when he took the screenshot of it. He got 3 million views, right?
Yeah.
Which is still a lot of fucking money. um,
Yeah.
but then you look at someone like Jimmy Kimmel, who's a bigger channel. He's got his whole network behind him. He's like a TV show, right? His video about the Las Vegas shooting, it had ads, right?
Yeah.
So when Philip DeFranco tweeted out to YouTube like, "Hey, what's the point here? Like, these both videos are talking about the same thing. Why is one like able to have
Monetized, one's
ads?"
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and YouTube was like, "Yeah, we don't put advertisements on anything that has to do with tragedies, right?" Which
Yeah.
is fair on their part, I guess. And a lot of people went into uproar, right? They were like, "Yo, what the fuck? What's going on?" YouTube hates its smaller creators or hates its creators, and it's only going for the big dogs, the guys who can actually get views or whatever. Basically, YouTube's turning mainstream kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was getting kind of ridiculous because people didn't look into it, because Jimmy Kimmel, his team or his advertisement team at NB whatever studio, ABC, I forget what studio or network he's with, but that network,
One of the letters.
yeah, they have this big ass advertising team, right? Because they're very historical in TV, and they're gonna have a big advertising team. And what they do is, um, they put their own ads, right? They get to talk to companies, right? They're like, hey, Nike, you want an ad on our YouTube video? Come through, give us this money, and we'll give you a slot for this ad on this video, right? And they do it by themselves. They don't go to YouTube or ask YouTube or rely on YouTube to actually put their ads up. So that's the only reason that Jimmy Kimmel's video had, you know, ads, whereas Casey Neistat's didn't. And Casey Neistat actually tweeted or made a video today talking about this, and his solution was giving YouTube creators a option to do this, like, you know, having some sort of way for YouTube to manage their creators, right? And have like an advertisement team that would help creators, you know, so not all creators would be hurt by the mishap, like by one creator fucking up, right? So everyone's not punished. You know what I'm saying? That way, like, if I'm a creator, I could talk to YouTube and be like, yo, I'm just making vlogs here. There's not even any cursing in it, right? I don't even use any music that has words in it. And we're all just about a family fun vlog, you know, a Christian channel. Let me just put ads here because I haven't changed my content. So why am I getting like 1/5 or 1/8 of the money that I used to get, right? Even though I'm putting the same amount of hours into the whole thing. And so that was his little thing about it, right? So what do you guys like? Should creators be allowed to do that, like big creators?
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, if YouTube is gonna like implement like new set of rules where it's like, yeah, we're not gonna let you profit off of like strategies or like you know, like content we don't find suitable for like a big audience or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they shouldn't be like, oh, we're not gonna let the smaller channels get the monetization on their videos, but the bigger channels can just do whatever they want, and if they get ads, whatever, we won't stop them. Like, if you're gonna make it to like you can't do this, you should stop someone from doing that, you know? Because then it's just like, oh, you can do it if you're like basically making tons of money and like I don't know, a lot of money from it. But if you're small, then no, you can't do it. That's not really a rule. That's more like you need to be like, I guess, kind of on the richer end to make money. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem like a rule when you stop someone from doing it and someone else from just keeps doing it.
Yeah, because it feels like you're. Because again, it feels like YouTube is going more mainstream and it doesn't care about its creators, the ones who helped build the platform and the ones who helped push the platform, you know? Because for the video, if you don't, I don't think many people know, but like when you make a video, right, and it gets monetized and whatever, the creator, I believe, for like a month's period, don't quote me on this might be wrong, but for however many views the video gets in a month, that's the amount of money, however much money that video makes in that month, that's how much the creator is paid, right?
Yeah.
But if the video resurfaces or like everything after that month or that whatever period of time it is, the more views that it accumulates and the more ad revenue accumulates, that goes to YouTube directly. Like the creator doesn't even get a cut, I believe, from the actual ads on the site. And yeah, that was like a big uproar because you shouldn't be allowed, you know, a bigger channel like Jimmy Kimmel or Ellen or something like that, the guys with networks, they should not be allowed to, they should be playing by the same
bypass
rules.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to just overstep.
Yeah, and if there's a way, because clearly they're able to put their own ads, right? They're able to market their own ads onto their videos, right? So there is some steps implemented there for that to be allowed, right? Creators are allowed to do that, but it's behind some wall, right? So I feel like they should open that wall up and let the creators do that, all right? Like if they're gonna let Jimmy Kimmel and Ellen do this, they should also let like people do this, right? Like regular people, regular creators, or at least you should have like 1 million view. I don't know, however it works, you'll figure out the number. That's YouTube's job, but you should let creators do that as well. You know what I'm saying? Or else it's just not fair to everyone. Or because then why would I want to stay on YouTube if, you know,
it's favors... like you it's like they're stopping like all new like content. Is just the old same old
and
kind of thing.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to talk about like the whole same old type of thing as well, but that'll be a different podcast. But yeah, that's the whole thing with ads. And now for the part of like ads not being there. So people have to go, like, if they allowed that, right? If they allowed us to place our own ads on the video itself, right? Or reach out to brands and just get in some circle or in some group and have it to be done that way, I feel like that would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Or you could be like super cool and like just find dope products like Dapper Ties. This episode is brought to you by
Oh my God.
WeAreDapperTies.com.
What?
Right, sellouts, cast boys. We Are Dapper Ties is a company created by brothers Andrew and Julian who believe that feeling and looking great should be an affordable right for all. So whether you're wearing a suit and tie daily, heading to your first interview, or an advocate of classy dates, or you just like to look good, you need a dapper tie. Andrew and Julian have carefully curated beautiful designs to offer you a selection of knitted, elegant, unique, and affordable ties. Go to wearedapperties.com and enter the code VIBES, that's VIBES, to get free shipping all around the US. On all your orders over the US. Go to wearedapperties.com, enter the promo code VIBES. That's VIBES. We Are Dapper Ties. Smart, affordable fashion. All right, so they just got a bunch of. If you look at their Instagram, We Are Dapper Ties, they got a bunch of ties that don't look like your traditional ties, basically, where you see the silk or something like that. These are actually knitted ties, right? Like they look very comfy to wear. They don't have like they have the traditional ties, you know, the silkiness ties, I believe. But they also have these knitted ties which just look comfy and you just want to touch them. I don't know where mine is currently, or I think it's in still in the mail, but go check it out. Go use the code. They're good. They're comfy. All right, and you get free shipping all over the U.S. What more can you want? They're very affordable, so go check them out. Thank you, We Are Dapper Ties. Love you guys. Love you. Right? Love you.
Dapper Ties.
Dapper Ties. But yeah, the graphic wasn't going away for a second, but so we've got obviously a few what do you call them, sponsors for the podcast, right? And that's just because we were lucky enough to get in talk with these brands, and like I was like, yo, this brand's really cool, you know, maybe they want to sponsor our podcast, or if they're looking for advertisement, maybe they could, you know, use us and our podcast and our platform to go through with whatever they want. And we just got lucky because of it, right? I was able to go out and like get sponsors, but in reality, like there's another podcast our friends make. What's it called? I forget. It's in the link below. But what's the one that Rodolfo and everyone makes?
The podcast thing?
Yeah, Rodolfo.
It's Out of Context.
Out of Context podcast, right? They're also
Yeah.
a podcast, a Houston-based podcast, I guess. I don't know if they identify as that, but they're also made in the Houston. They're our
made
friends.
in the U.S.
Made in the U.S. No, they're a bunch of our friends on the podcast, and you know, with the adpocalyps, they might not be getting as many views and as many ads on their podcast. And I don't know if they actually went out and actually got sponsorships or whatnot, but it's because of creators like that that really get screwed over. Like smaller creators who are doing it for the fun of it, right? They don't get as much.
Yes.
They don't get rewarded for this, right? And it just sucks. It just sucks for those creators. Not saying that we're big creators. We got like X amount
it's
of
just
subs.
like starting up is like you're just thumping the new guys kind of thing.
Yeah, and
like
yeah. I don't know. With it being like so saturated, also, it's already hard enough. If you don't know your way around everything, but like, dude, with the whole website against you at that point, you're like, bro, what's going on? So it's very disheartening in that sense. So what I did,
no hope.
yeah, there's still hope. But what I did is I got very lucky, right? I was making vlogs. I was just making short films and vlogs while I was on YouTube, and as the adpocalypse happened, I was like, nah, fam, let's get out of here. And so I'm still making YouTube videos, right? But if I've uploaded YouTube videos where I talk about this, I've focused more on freelance work now. The YouTube videos were used for me to like hone my editing skills, hone my storytelling skills and whatnot. But now I'm off to freelance work, right? And I've been blessed to be very successful with that, and I've been able to do a lot of cool things through freelance work. But that's what I did, right? I just booked it right off the bat. I'm like, PewDiePie, the fucking Wall Street Journal's going at YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, let's just stop that here. And so I've been doing that. You know, you can see like on the channel or on everything, a lot of my personal videos have stopped, right? And that's because I'm focusing more on the Lost Millennials as a brand, and my freelance work, which helps me grow that brand even more. So that's what I did, right? I didn't put all my eggs in one basket, which as many of other people do. You know, I know a few YouTubers who literally did put everything in one basket, and all they did was YouTube. And then once the adpocalypse happened, they're like quickly rushing and they're following the wave over to Twitch. But you know, Twitch is a different creature of itself, and you really can't just, you know, hope to just blow up on Twitch overnight. So it's a hard transition, boys.
Yeah, you have to find like a whole new format.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of people are going over to Twitch, but it's like not everyone can do it, bro. Not everyone.
Yeah, it's like completely different format.
Twitch is live streaming, correct?
Yes, Twitch is live streaming.
Right, and that's totally different than having to record something, edit it, and make it look perfect. Like everything is.
Yeah. You're live. You can't mess up.
It's like right then and there, like you get it right or you don't, and it's a lot of pressure, I imagine.
You either say the N-word or you don't, you know.
Yeah, and you can't edit out like oops, whoops. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, bro. Personally, I feel like PewDiePie's not getting enough shit. Like, he's literally the reason. I wouldn't say for the Nazi stuff, right? Because his stuff is very satirical, and that's how it should be taken. But for his N-word mix-up, right? Like, he's like, I didn't even say it at a specific person or whatnot. Just you're on a live stream, right?
Just don't say it.
You should have that.
I think he just felt like he was like already like, you know, not at a point where he wants to be, because he's been like making so much money from YouTube before, where it's like he doesn't even care anymore. He just I think he kind of knew he was gonna say it, and it was on live stream, but he was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna care this time. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, if it's something like that, you should definitely like think twice, because that's something that you shouldn't be able to like just think of saying on Twitch and be like, oh, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this, yeah.
There should be no legal for him. I don't know why.
Yeah, or like, I'm so big, like I can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly, because he's the face of the internet. He's the face of the internet right now to all the old gen or all the regular media out there. He's like, PewDiePie's the internet, right? Jake Paul's the internet. All these guys who are buzzing, they're the internet, right? Some old fogey, you're gonna be like, you heard the internet? They're like, oh, the PewDiePies, and that's what they see. Oh, what? What'd you say?
Nothing.
No, I just lagged out like heavy. But yeah, but he's like the face of the internet. So do what I did. Try getting your skills up. You know, you don't have to be necessarily an editor or a filmmaker, but I'm glad this happened for the newer YouTubers, or the smaller YouTubers actually, because now they realize that, hey, YouTube is not a stable job. Like, whatever your parents told you, right? Like, YouTube is not a stable job. Now it's like backed up, like, yo, this shit could go down, right? And I think that's like really good. I feel like I actually support that part of it. Like, because of that, all these younger kids, they'll be forced to actually go out, you know, hone some skills, right? Don't be like you're some random kid on Musical.ly getting famous, but you'll actually have to have skills, have interpersonal skills, and actually be able to grow yourself as a brand. And you have to learn all that business behind the scenes. Whereas before, the fucking internet was a wasteland, right? It was all Western, you know, people are just grabbing at space. Whereas now it's being... Whereas now everything's a bit more regulated, man. Yeah.
Quick random side note, because I'm not as savvy and knowledgeable as you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have me here today, actually. So in terms of like, because we're talking about YouTube and the whole thing with that, and people switching over to Twitch, is Patreon another one of those big platforms that people go to?
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally all the filmmakers themselves, right? Like, you have your Ismahawk TV, you have your Wong Fu, um, and all the other guys, right? And even the cosplayers, right? Even the
Yeah,
lower
because
tier people.
from my knowledge, like I know a lot of cosplayers go on Patreon
Yeah.
just to, because that's how they make their business.
Yeah, I mean for cosplayers, because they're actually selling a physical product, right? Like you could
Yeah,
buy
that's what I'm saying.
prints.
Like it's an actual product. Like I
Yeah.
know a lot of artists who do that too,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know like to what extent Patreon goes
I think
in order to.
I believe Patreon
Patreon is
has.
like it's like a monthly paycheck, but they keep like I think like a fifth of whatever you get.
Mm-hmm. Probably, most sites charge 20%, but I believe it's monthly and by tier, right? So
Yeah. You set up your own tiers too, I
yeah,
think.
so the person's allowed to set tiers. If you want a $1 tier, $5 tier, 10, 30, 50, whatever have you.
Mm-hmm.
And each tier there are different perks, right? Like $50 tier, you could get my fucking feet pics, right? Now that was a thing. People were selling feet pics for like some time on
Dude,
Patreon.
what?
Yeah, there was a lot of girls. I remember in the gaming community specifically, there was a lot of females going over to Patreon and like, hey, there's my Patreon, and you get a sub, and you could have my feet pics and shit like that. And guys were going for it. They were buying that shit.
That's so weird.
I mean, it's the same. Yeah, but that was that. That was that. It's like tiered, and the creators can choose what tiers there are and what content goes up. But the reason I made a tweet about this actually, I said everyone's gonna move to Patreon in the future, right? Because not only because a Patreon has early access to
Mhm.
most of the time to a content creator's content, I guess, like their product.
Yeah.
But this is also A to A fucking transaction, right? You have the content creator there, you have the fucking viewer right next to him, and he's like, "Yo, this is my video," and the fucking viewer's like, "Here's my money," and there.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
it's like they're making some like easier for people to like kind of get like a website kind of feel without having to make one kind of, because like I don't know, you like basically subscribe to this thing. Depends on like what the creator wants, or like their tier system is.
Yeah.
Like I know one of the channels I watch, like Couch App,
Mm-hmm.
they have like a $1 tier where it's like you can just donate $1 per month because it's just basically supporting them, and you get like little updates of what they're doing and kind of stuff like that. And it's like you can donate whatever you want, but like as long as you donate like their minimum, you get something out of it, and it's like you're helping them do what they do, or kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the good thing about Patreon. Like if I was a big channel, or if Lost Millennials actually needed something like that,
Yeah.
which I've chosen to go, or we've chosen to go a different route with Lost Millennials than the traditional YouTube brand, right? Um, we would have 100% I would have just switched over to Patreon, and I would have been like, "Yo, give me money, please," and that's
Thank
how we
you
would have.
very much.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. Okay. I see. I'm also gonna link a few things on how to not be racist with a brown guy.
Let's
How
just say to
to
me.
Oh,
not
stop.
offend. I'm gonna make a note of this.
Tacos.
A
I mean,
brown guy.
we're all kind of brown, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. Why are you being racist, Habib?
Pakistani.
Why you
What?
Pakistani guy. I mean, for
are you
any
calling us
viewers
nut
watching,
browns? That's kind of messed up.
you're not Southern Asian like me. Fucking yeah, but
God
but yeah,
damn.
I would have for sure gone over to Patreon or something like that. Like even now, I've gotten more interested into like live streaming, right?
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do this before the adpocalypse. Like Margo can attest to that, where I actually wanted to live stream these podcasts and then later have it up. So it would give people more of an incentive to actually come on to Twitch or whatever and actually watch it live early, right?
Yeah.
and then we could just release it onto YouTube or whatever. But that was a big incentive for people, right? Because you're able to communicate with people a lot easier than on YouTube because of all the spam. Again, it's just so big that it's very hard. Oh fuck.
Oh.
That's what she said. But
I was waiting for it.
We were all thinking it, yeah.
Yep. I came out and said it, bro. I just said it. I had to. I couldn't stand it.
You went there. You brought it home.
Yup. I took it on to a nice dinner. Whatever. But yeah, Patreon. Go check. Speaking of brown guys, I just watched The Big Sick the other day, right? Like a week ago. You guys know what The Big Sick is?
No.
I'm gonna talk about this because it really resonated with me because again, it's about this Pakistani guy. It follows. Let me just read the whole synopsis, right? It follows this brown guy. He's a comedian, and it's like based on true events or something. The Big Sick. It's a movie that came out in 2017.
Pakistan-born comedian Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
And grad student Emily Gardner fall in love but struggle as their cultures clash.
Oh, I heard of that. I never watched it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it either. When Emily contracts a mysterious illness, Kumail finds himself forced to face her feisty parents, his family's expectations, and his true feelings.
Yeah.
Is this on Netflix?
No, it's not on Netflix yet, but I feel like
it says Amazon Video.
Oh, I might be thinking of a different movie because there's a movie kind of similar to that.
Ooh, I think I know what you're talking about. I feel like I know what you're talking about. It's about a brown guy and a white girl.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, there's a few of those with all these brown comics coming up. These videos are pretty nice, but it's basically that this brown guy, he's Pakistani, he's Muslim, his family's Muslim, and when he was younger, he came over to America, right? So he's more Americanized than his parents. His parents are still trying to keep the culture alive.
Hashtag relate.
Yeah, but it's clashing because the Muslim culture is very conservative, right? Whereas American culture is not, I guess.
At all.
Yeah.
I would imagine because this dude is a stand-up comedian. Like, first of all, that's not a job you get when your family's like, you gotta be a doctor, right? Or you gotta be like an engineer, right?
A lawyer, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what ends up happening is like, because this is like a very, very true story for most like brown.
Yeah, it's something
people,
that a lot of people
kids.
like go through in America, right? Like a lot of like immigrant families come over, their kids are young, they like become more Americanized, and it's like it's a struggle, you know?
Yeah, that's why I was like, I can still relate because I know my parents came from a different country, and so me and my siblings are first generation here in America.
Exactly.
And I am as whitewashed as Mexicans can come.
Yo, like, I feel you. Like, all my friends I meet online, they're like, yo, we thought you were white. I'm like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you answer the phone, like, hello, thank you for calling, and then you come and walk into the office.
They're like, who are you?
Yeah, they're like,
you were on the phone?
Yeah. I'm like, hello.
Yeah. No, seriously though, if like people didn't know, like read my name or like didn't see anything online of me and they're just here listening to the podcast, right? Even though I have my webcam up, they would have thought that, you know, this fucking white dude, right? What's he talking about? Fucking being brown or shit. But that's what happens because like we're very Americanized, and that's why I believe this story resonates with a lot of younger audiences, even millennials down. Where they've been brought to such a melting pot of a society where it's okay to go in a fucking, I gotta say this quietly because I'm still in my parents' house. Interracial relationships.
I'm telling.
You know, it's like
I'm telling.
That stuff should never be brought up in your immigrant household. But
oh hell no.
But it
really depends how strict.
Gonna kind of whoop ass is what you're gonna do.
Yeah, basically, that's gonna happen soon. My dad's just gonna bust through the door.
What'd you say?
Like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
Except he's saying, "Oh no."
Oh no.
No, you don't.
I was like, fuck that, I'm sorry.
Not today.
But no, in the movie, right?
In my house.
Yeah, like it clashes. In the movie, you see it clash a lot where he's very Americanized. He's becoming a stand-up comic, right? He fell in love with a white girl, and
It's like completely against the grain.
yeah, so he's always been against the grain. Whereas his older brother or younger brother, right? His brother has been completely
older or younger?
I think it's an older
Both.
brother. I think his brother is older in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Where his brother actually fits the mold perfectly, right? He fucking became a doctor, I believe. He's still
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him, but
he's very cultural. He's
do
very
what you want.
he's still
Right?
very religious.
Don't live your parents' dream.
Yeah.
Live your dream.
Yeah, but he's still very religious. He prays 5 times a day, all that stuff. He doesn't drink, doesn't do anything like that. He got married to a brown girl that his parents chose out for him.
Mexican?
So no, like Indian. But yeah, he got married to a brown girl like that, and so that was him, right? Like he just chose to go with it, right? Because he was much older when he came over, so he was still not as Americanized.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like he still followed the
Yeah. He still had the fear in him.
Yeah.
He was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get my ass beat. Whereas you see in the main character, it's completely opposite, right? It's actually introduced early on that he's a comic, right? He's a stand-up comic, which isn't something any brown guy does, unless you're the newer gen brown guys, Aziz Ansari, Hassan Minaj.
Yeah, I was about to say Aziz Ansari.
All those guys, but those are very new gen, right? Millennial brown guys, because we're very funny for some reason, and when we got random shit to talk about, because okay, dad jokes, yep. But yeah, he's a stand-up comic. He eats dinner with his parents, with his family, right, once a week, I think. But he doesn't. He goes downstairs, right, when his mom tells him to go pray. He goes downstairs. He lays down the mat, and he just sets up the chair, and he actually starts playing video game. He sets a timer for 5 minutes, and he starts playing video games on his phone.
Dude, what?
Yeah. So and then he goes back upstairs, tells his parents like, "Yeah, I prayed. Cool." And then they have dessert or whatever, right? That's one of like the opening scenes of it. So you could see a very religious clash in that, and I was like, "They're kids like that, man." That's why I'm very hesitant to judge people, right? Whether they be brown or not, because in the brown community, you're judging like you're judged super fast because of all the fucking people here. They're like, "Yup, you're dead meat." But yeah, that happens a lot. So you could see like the clashes there, and then it goes on more and more, and it's like he falls in love with this white girl, but he has to like hide it from his parents, right? Which is like a big like half of his life, right? Like this whole half of his life where he just doesn't tell his parents, which is kind of crazy. You could think about that, like not telling your parents like half of your life.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow.
Much well.
Wow. But yeah, man, I think that's why it resonates with a lot of first gen kids or even second gen kids, because like your parents trying to still preserve their cultures, right? They're like, no, you must be faithful, and you're like, nah, I'm a twerk on this bitch.
America.
YOLO.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but you can't blame them. They're both sides. They're very culturally clashing. But yeah, that was like a really good film that if you want to check out, you should go check out. I won't say anything. I won't do any spoilers. But I enjoyed it. It was actually one of the first films ever that when like a movie ended, I had like a big smile on my face. And it could have been like I finished watching the movie at 3 a.m. or like the movie was pretty fucking good where I was like, "Aw, nice." Like I was happy with the ending, and I was like, just laying in my bed, watch on my phone, like, "Oh yeah," because it was based on his real life, right? Like he actually married a white girl.
It gave you hope.
I'm like, yo, that's what's good, my boy. Let's go. Actually, I always wanted to talk about this on the podcast, but I never got it around to it. Every time I see a brown guy, right, or brown girl with someone who's not brown, right, I go up to him, dap him up real quick. I'm like, you made it, brother. Good job.
You smack them?
Dream.
Nah, I dab it up, bro. I'm like, what's good? I'm like, people can
Oh,
see in
all
the
I heard was
webcam.
like,
Yeah, people. I'm
I
like,
smack it up, and then I hear in the
yeah.
background. I'm like, what are you doing?
But
No,
no,
Habib,
I give him a
no.
firm handshake and I give him a pat on the back. But yeah, man, yeah. Are your parents for or against it? Interracial stuff. That's not right.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you could start. I'll go
Am
off.
I?
Like my parents are like
We'll go around the circle.
against it. I'm pretty sure, unless I find like, cause for me it's like religious as well. Cause like I've got to marry a Muslim woman. You know, it's like, damn, dad, that's wow. All right.
Yeah, for me, it kind of falls under like, because my parents are not that old, so they're not that traditional.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can be best friends with anybody of any race. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know there's like some hardcore, uh, there's people who are just hardcore into their
Oh, like
culture
you
and who
can't
they
even have
are.
you can't even
It's
have.
like, we are the best, and this is my group, and this is who I'm associating myself with, which is okay. I mean, that was the thing at the time. But like, I know my parents are more in a space where they're, you can be friends with anybody. But when it comes to being in a relationship, it would have a lot of it has to do with religion,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little bit has to do with race, just because I mean, unfortunately, that's just how it is. Some stereotypes just never got outgrown and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I know for me, I couldn't care less. Like, you could be
Yeah. Really.
like any shade in the rainbow. I love
Yeah.
you. You know,
Yeah.
as
Well,
long as you're a good person and whatnot. But
but yeah. Again, like
I mean,
stereotypes are
that's
gonna be kind of
just
hard for our
yeah,
parents to go past. But that makes sense. That makes sense
yeah.
for
But
them.
that's because that's what they grew up with. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about a time where women didn't have rights. We had slavery back in the day. We had uh,
A lot of
persecution
oppression.
of every
Yeah.
kind. Like, that's just how it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. What about you, Marco? Are your parents? I feel like your parents. I'll let you answer.
My parents are like not strict at all,
Yo, get
like
you a bad
whatsoever.
bitch.
Yeah, like my
Hey,
His
parents
mom comes
like
up, Marco, get the bad
hey, hey!
bitch.
You hit that
like
up?
on
You
the
hit that
point
up,
of
Marco?
on the point of like being like a bad person. Of course, they're gonna be like, hey, that person's not like a
Yeah.
good person.
Yeah.
Like you
Exactly.
shouldn't be doing that. But in the regards of like race and like religion, they don't care. Like
Yeah.
it's like to the point where like they realize that we came here and it's like kind of like a melting pot, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a melting pot of the world kind of deal.
Yeah.
So like it's why would you like come to a place where a lot of religions and races mix when you're just gonna like
Yeah.
I don't know, like be close-minded and narrow-minded and like just trying to forget that everybody else exists.
Yeah.
So like my parents are more like, yeah, just like be safe, find a good partner, and it's like no matter what race or religion, they don't really care
Yeah.
as long as
Yeah.
it's not like someone
Like,
that's
they
on
really
drugs. Like
embrace the
that's
diversity,
yeah,
coming here.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like as it's a good person, then you're good. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of deal.
I
Yeah.
feel like the easiest way to, because at the end of the day, we're gonna have to break that, right? We're gonna have to like, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna be like, yo, our parents like chill. This person's not like that. Like you actually gotta, if you're actually want to be with someone that's not, your parents not approve of, you gotta actually like first of all pick a good person. Like they're good people, right? Like there's just not a dick or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but you gotta like show your parents like, yo, this is a genuinely nice, good person.
Yeah.
They take care. They meet the criteria for what you want
As
in
long
a
as they're not
spouse.
like something weird, like worshiping Satan or something. Hey, that would be too much.
Marco won't.
That would
They're
be
not
way.
something weird.
Marco.
I bet my
Marco's
parents would whoop my ass if I thought
persecuting
someone like
all
that.
Satan worshippers here. I'm
Gosh.
sorry.
Like if it was that, I know my parents would bring out the chancla and the belt and everything.
Damn, they just gotta
Like,
fucking
Jesus
damn.
Cristo.
yeah.
Bah.
But yeah, no, I feel like you could always tilt your parents because at the end of the day, they'll tilt, they'll go over because if they know like, hey, this is okay, right? Like if they feel safe, right, with it, They see like all the pros, like, yo, this is a good person, they're chill, they're gonna take care of my kid and the family, right? If they do, like, for me, it's like the only way I'll be able to tell my parents, like, yo, shut up, cause is like, if this person meets all their requirements for like a brown girl, right? Like, if you're looking at like, if you're gonna get me to marry some other girl, right? This girl meets like the same exact criteria, so I don't feel like there should be any other way to do it. We should both be, it's a win-win. It's a win-win at that point, right? So I feel like just get a good person and then be like, yo,
be the one to start the change.
Yeah, you gotta do
like
it.
Don't just say like, oh, you know, I can date whoever I want. Like, date that person and prove like this is a good person. It doesn't matter what color, whatever you see on the outside, so and so. Because like, you can say it all you want, you can scream it on top of the hills, but if you actually do something about it or take an action,
lead by
or
example.
you know, lead by example, by heart, by everything. That's what's gonna show, and that's what's gonna be like, oh, he said it and he meant it, and you know, I see that now. I accept that.
That's how people break stereotypes, bro. Because honestly, I feel like that I actually have a real life example of that. One of my grandmother's friends, her son married a Polish woman, right? White woman, just white as snow, right? She's very pretty, but she didn't know any like Urdu or whatever, and so, but at first the mother-in-law or his mom was like, I don't know, I don't really know, right?
Which means no.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, which means like, what are people gonna say, right? Like, what the fuck are you doing? But when they got married anyways, and the more they live together now, the mom realizes like, yo, this chick, she's actually like taking care of us, right? She's actually very nice, and now she's like, I got the best fucking daughter-in-law, yo. She's coming up to my grandma's like, what your daughter-in-law do today? Mine fucking gave me gold coins, like, what's good? like like that type of shit. The breaking the stereotypes, that's how you break stereotypes. And yeah, I think that was a good little way to end it there. Is that everyone's good? Any closing statements from anyone?
I had hot Cheetos today.
Were they spicy?
No, but they were good.
Bro,
hey Marco.
What?
I'm eating hot Cheetos right now.
What? I literally have the bag right here where I finished it.
Me too.
Sorry for the audio listeners. Where do you find Takis? Like
store?
I was at Walmart yesterday, but there were no Takis.
The chip aisle?
There were no Takis.
Yeah.
I went up and down the aisle. There's like none.
They might have just ran out, because I know a couple times like when I go to Kroger's, they've run out, and it makes me really sad.
Everybody buy some, dude.
Yeah, I'll have to buy some. I really like spicy food. But thank you very much for watching this episode number 10 of the podcast. We've reached episode number 10. That means 2.5 months of podcasts.
Really?
Yeah, this is 2.5 month anniversary of the podcast.
Can I ask a silly question?
Yeah.
Which podcast am I on?
The Sunday Vibes. I said in the start of it.
This is Sunday Vibes? Okay.
I said, welcome to the Sunday Vibes podcast.
I wasn't listening.
Alright, well, good enough. I hope everyone else is listening, because the links are to everything in the description below. Don't
be like me.
Go follow these guys on their respective Twitter handles. Sub's Too Hard for Me for Marco, and that for Janae. I just read it on screen or read the description.
It says Janae. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it has extra letters, and yeah, man.
Are you discriminating by the way I spell my name, boy?
Yeah. Because it's very hard, but I'd really like to thank Crystal Clouds and Dapper Ties for actually sponsoring this episode of the podcast. It was fun. They're great people. Go check out Crystal Cloud's new LP, his new album that came out, his Summer Vibes one. And yeah, good music.
Thank you.
Good fashionable ties, right? Winter's coming up. We gotta layer up. Go check it out. With that being said, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Boys, we gotta be quiet for a minute, because like the fucking outro music's gonna start playing, right? I think I played it at the wrong time. Oh, I played it at the wrong time. Just Yep, we'll end it on that